hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Tell everyone you're doing much better.
I'm doing much better.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a Q&A with some questions that people have asked, and I think this would be really fun because these are questions that other people have, not just things that I think of that would be good for you guys to know or anything, but these are actual questions that people have asked me and want to know the answers to. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so question number 1 is, what is Jace's condition? Jace's condition is called Hirschsprungs disease. So what that means is a part of your colon didn't have aganglionic cells when you were born. So it just didn't work when you were born, basically. And that's the definition of Hirschsprungs disease. We will go more into the depths of this condition in later questions. So let's go on to question number 2. How does he do getting an IV? Jace, do you want to answer that? No, are you getting tired? Okay, well, he is pretty strong-willed when it comes to the hospital. He does everything like a champ, except for IVs. He really isn't a fan of them. He does them, and he sucks it up, and he knows he has to do it, but he's not a big fan of them, that's for sure. Okay, so question number 3, how do you handle the stress? That's a good question. But that little boy hidden underneath the pillow is exactly why I handle the stress. He could get through it with smiles and giggles, then I sure enough can get through it with smiles and giggles. I'm being affected, but it's not my journey, it's his. I'm just along for the ride. So that's definitely how I deal with the stress, is just look at him and realize how blessed I am to have him alive. And, you know, out of all the rare conditions he could have gotten, he got one that, yeah, it affects our daily lives, but he could still live a semi-normal, pretty routine life. So how does he do knowing he has to go to the hospital? Jace, do you like when you have to come to the hospital, baby? He's hiding. He's building a fort. That's right. You build your fort. He doesn't do that bad. He is really hyped about the IV. He knows he's going to get one, and he's super scared about it. But at the end of the day, he's not that bad off. He has a really good and upbeat spirit and personality about the hospital. So, I mean, got the better end of the stick with that one. How do you keep your kid busy? You tell it's kind of hard. Look at him right now. Toys are definitely something I bring along, and the hospital also does give him a lot of toys when he does really big procedures or does something really good or easy for them. They'll give him toys. So toys are the #1 way. We go for walks, and we like to watch movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff, you know, the whole 9 yards with the TV. But we do that. He likes to watch YouTube Kids, so those are just some ways I keep him distracted. What made you realize that you cannot believe everything the hospital tells you? That's a good question. My first red flag was when Jace was a month old and he still hadn't pooped, and he was in the NICU, and they told me, oh, that can be normal. I don't think I've ever met a baby that hasn't pooped for a month. Besides that, every time I mentioned that his belly was getting big, they just pushed it away. Every time I mentioned that, you know, stop force feeding him, because they were feeding him through an NG tube, they just pushed me away. I mean, there's a lot of things that have made me not believe everything the hospital says, but at the same time, you have to have a certain level of trust in who's taking care of your family member. But at the same time, never fully believe anything and question until you feel satisfied. I guess that's all I can say about that subject. How do you prepare for multiple days at the hospital? If I have time to prepare, I pack my bag, I pack a week's worth of clothes, I pack shampoo, pack toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, you know, some toys to keep him distracted, a bottle, because, you know, he can be picky with their bottles because they're kind of weird. just like the necessities. And if you guys want a video on what to pack for parents for a hospital bag, definitely check the link below. I'm going to post my video about that, or you can just go to my channel. I mean, you should already be subscribed, so you should have already seen this, but I will post it down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like that. But let's go on to question number 8. How do you ask doctors questions when they always seem so rushed? That is a fantastic question, and I get that a lot, and I've actually gotten that from like hospital moms that I've met that are like new to this whole scene. You forced it. This is your child. This is your time. They come into your room knowing that there's an allotted amount of time that they have to spend with you. Now, I understand if a doctor says there's an emergency or this or that or this or that. There's certain times where I will let it go and they will leave. But if I have your attention and you're in the room to explain something to me, you're going to explain it to your fullest extent until I truly understand it. If you can't do that, then you can't work on him. That's point blank period. I have changed hospitals 6 times because I don't like the work ethics of certain doctors, or because the facility wasn't up to par. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You are entitled to the security, safety, and health care of your child or your family member. Don't ever get that mixed up. You have every right to get a second opinion, to get a third opinion, to get a 6th opinion, you know? That's my answer to that. But you force your time on those doctors. You ask your questions to the nurses. That's their job. You know, when they make an allotted amount of time to come in. Now, don't spend 45 minutes of their time in your room unless you really, truly need it. But you have every right to ask your question. If they seem rushed, hold them. Say, hey, you don't have to be rude. There's no, you know, we don't have to be rude. But you just, hey, I had another question. Can I finish saying that? Or do you have time to answer my questions? If not, can you come back when you have time to answer my questions? Because I do have a lot of them, or I have a few of them, or whatever it is. You definitely force that on them. I have questions. I need you to answer. That's it. That's their job. That's what they're here for, is to answer the questions about the health concerns of your family member, your loved one. With Jace in the background. Number 9, how does one juggle real life, work, and everyday things with hospital life? That is something I struggled with for a long time. I still don't work. It's nearly impossible for me with how much we're in the hospital. It's really difficult. I will get into like if there's ways to make money online later on, but it's difficult, especially at first. Very difficult to, you know, balance everything. It's hard. It's very hard. I have a dog that I adore dearly, and everybody knows that. My Dior is my princess. She has been through thick and thin with me. They're the same age. I got her a few months after I had him. I've had her since she was 2 months old. My world on top of him. So I always make sure she's at my parents' house, and if she's not at my parents' house, my parents do have a key to my house when I live on my own, and they have access to her at all times. So she is set, she is good. That's one part of my home life that I take care of immediately. The second part is, you know, keeping up with family and friends. That's really hard too, because you're so focused on your child and what's going on that unless they're immediate family, you need to tell them right away. It's kind of hard. As of work life, depends on what you do for work. If you can work from the computer, if you can work from home, fantastic. That's hard though. That's very hard to do in a hospital. I'm trying to make time to make these videos because I don't work from home. Thankfully, I have a great support system, fantastic support system, and I don't have to work. But this is why I started this YouTube channel, to show you guys that you can still make a little bit of time while you're in the hospital. I have about 15 minutes to record this video before he gets fancy, before somebody else comes in, before something's needed from me. I've tried to record this video 3 times now before he's got antsy, somebody came in, somebody needs something from me. You know, it could be difficult to balance everything out, but after a while you totally get the groove of things, to an extent. that's definitely something I need to add in it to an extent. Question number 10. How do I make time to accommodate all of my children? I don't have multiple children. Thankfully, I only have one right now. But if I did, it's just like Dior, you have to find someone to take care of your child when you're not able to be with them. And I think it's super, I think it's super important if you do have multiple children to have someone else to be at the hospital with your child while you take breaks to spend time with your other children. That's the only way you're going to be able to balance that out. It would be really hard, and I don't have experience in that. I can't fully talk on that, but I do know that I would have someone else come sit with Jace while I spend a few hours with my other child, or maybe a night with my other child, and had someone I really trusted spend the night with Jace, or your spouse, you know, depending on your situation. I only say that roughly because I don't know everyone's situation. Question number 11. How do I keep my child thinking positively when they are going through this type of journey? Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you. How do you get your child to think positively? That's something we've always pushed on Jace since the second he started the NICU. Everything he did, every procedure he got done, no matter how minor it was, it could just be them checking his blood pressure. I made it, oh my God, you accomplished it. You did it. You made the biggest step today. You accomplished them finishing your blood pressure and not moving. You accomplished getting an IV. You accomplished getting your finger pricked. You accomplished it. And I make it a big thing for them. Like, wow, you did so good, Papa. You did so good. I make it to where, you know, it is a positive thing. You did good. You did amazing. You did a fantastic job. You did it. They did it. You know, you give that glory 100% to them. So that's really a tip I can give on that. Also, your attitude, your feelings, your energy that you give off is what's going to affect your child. So if you're always down and sad and crying, your child's going to see that. And yes, you're going to need times to cry. You're going to need time to breathe. Go for a walk. Please sit down. Go for a walk. Go take a shower. Have somebody come sit with them. Take a break, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. Go get something to eat, and while you're eating, you know, go in the parent lounge and cry. Parents do it all the time. It's not a weird thing to see somebody crying or somebody tearing up. It's just not. It is what it is. Make sure you do cry, though. I can say that bit of advice for sure. Make sure you cry because you need to. It's a sense of relief, honestly, scientifically. I would take the time to let it out, you know? So that's important, you guys. Always feel your emotion, but try not to show too much of that in front of your kid because it does affect them. Let's see. Number 12, can your kid make friends in the hospital? That's tough because not many kids are out of their hospital rooms. I've never had, I mean, he's made one friend and it was at Johns Hopkins. Still talk with the mother once in a while. She's great, fantastic. I know her little boy's still going through it too. They have the same condition actually. We're born really close to each other. And when we used to go to Johns Hopkins, when they did, we used to have appointments on the same days. And I believe, if I'm correct, the boys got their surgeries on the same day too. All 3 surgeries on the same day too. So it's possible, you know, but for him, he hasn't really made any other friends in the hospital. Number 13, what are the happiest, wow, I can't read. What are the healthiest options to eat at the cafeteria? Hospital food's not that great. It doesn't taste that great. I usually order out. Thankfully, my support system allows me to order food a lot out, no matter, you know, either, you know, my whole support team, they all come together, every single person involved, and they help me out, so it's great. But, I mean, the good things to eat are really anything that's in the hospital. I mean, it's made for healthier options, so anything in the hospital is really kind of truly healthier to eat. It's all healthy versions of food anyways. So that's my answer to that one. Number 14, is there anything I could do to make money while at the hospital? Yeah, there's plenty of things you could do. Do I take full indulgence to those things? No, not right now. I do not. I haven't had an opportunity to get really involved in the things that you can do from home. Henceforth, why I'm taking a full into YouTube. I really, not just because of the monetary thing, it has really honestly nothing to do with that, but I know you can make a living off of it. I do this because I love to share his experience with people. I think it's very uplifting and very inspiring to other people who are going through the same situation. And to be honest, I wish there was a YouTube channel out there when I first started my experience with Jace that I could have watched them grow, and I feel like I would have been really connected with them. And that's what I look forward to, people I can grow a connection with and that can, take my advice or take what I say and make it their own and feel like they're not alone in this situation, because I know that was a big thing for me. But you can be a virtual assistant. I know virtual assisting is not that hard to do, with kids around, I've heard. It might be a little harder in the hospital for sure, because every 3 hours some procedures going on, every few minutes somebody's walking in, the IV starts beeping, this happens, that happens, your kid's edgy, they're whiny, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're fighting. I mean, it's definitely harder sometimes to be a virtual assistant, but I heard that's the thing. There's plenty of other ways, but like I said, I've never really dove into that aspect of in the hospital. I've really given my full attention to him because I have the opportunity to. How do I be forward with my kid and tell them what's going on? Be forward. Do it. I mean, they are not stupid. They totally understand everything. They can see, they can breathe, they can hear, then they know. They know what's going on. I tell Jace every time they tell me they're going to admit him, you are getting an IV. That's it. I know it's going to hurt. I know you're scared. I know you feel anxiety and you have every right to feel that way. But you have to do it and you're going to conquer it like you always do. That's it. And when he got his surgeries, I told him too. He was only a year old, a year and a half, and almost 2. I told him, you are going to go back there with these people. You're going to go take a night-night. And when you come back, mommy will be here. And you might be in a little bit of pain, but we're going to get through this, Poppy. We're going to do it. And he smiled at me and he went so happy with the nurse back into the OR. But you have to be straightforward with them, because if you're not, they're going to resent you for not telling them the truth. They're going to once they realize you're lying to them, your trust is gone. And what kind of life is that where your kids don't trust what you're saying and can't feel confident when you're telling them the truth that it's going to be okay, and they feel like it's not going to be okay because you told them it was going to be okay and it wasn't okay, and they woke up in pain and you didn't tell them that they were going to be in pain, or you tell them the IV won't hurt and then it hurts. That's a lie, and the kids, they feel that, so I definitely think being straightforward is the best thing to do with your kid. Number 16, how can I stay safe during a pandemic while at the hospital? I am in the middle of the hospital during a pandemic. How do I stay safe? I wear 2 masks when I leave the room. I wear gloves when I leave the room. I hand sanitize those gloves before I touch anything of my personal belongings or my clothes. I make sure to shower daily, as hard as that is. And I know that sounds weird and gross, but it is really hard to shower every day in the hospital. But I make time for it because pandemic, hello. It's hard because you never know what nurse or what doctor has it and they don't know yet and they're coming in your room. But I bleach everything down, all the handles, everything in his room, his bed, everything. I bleach it all down before he gets on it, before he touches it. That's really the best answer I can give you. What is Hirschsprungs genetic? That is a question somebody asked. It can be. But we don't know fully. Hirschsprungs is a newer disease, a rare disease. It is rare. So they don't know much about it. Me, Jace, and his father were actually in a study. You know, we gave blood and we answered like a packet this big full of questions about us, our family, and all that, what health concerns they have. But as far as just someone on my side or Christopher's side have Hirschsprung's disease, no, we don't have anyone in our side, in either side of the family, that has Hirschsprung's disease. But they do say that if you have a child with Hirschsprung's disease, if you have another boy, there's a 90% chance that boy will have Hirschsprung's. If you have a girl, there's a 75% chance she will have Hirschsprung's if you have another child. So, I mean, they're claiming it's partly genetic, you know. So that's the best answer I have for that, because Hirschsprung's is relatively a newer being studied disease. It's been around for a long time. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. But it's newerly getting studied a lot. Yes, baby?
He has wings.
He has wings?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How long has he been facing his health condition? Since the day he was born. He was born premature at 35 weeks. And they took him from me instantly and sent him to a hospital that had more room in their NICU, an hour and a half away from us. And the reason they did that is because he wasn't breathing correctly, so they transferred him up there where they had more rooms and medical facilities and stuff to take care of it. He was up there. I was here recovering, or I was in our hometown recovering. This is not our hometown where we're at either, but I was in our hometown recovering from a C-section, because he was born by C-section. And when 3 days later I was released, I went up and stayed with him until, you know, he went home after that. But he has had this issue since day one. They did not notice it though until he was 1 month and 3 weeks old. And he was actually a month old when he vomited like the size of a grown man. And he was an itty bitty 3-pound baby throwing up as much as a grown man would throw up. And they had to give him suppositories, but none of the suppositories worked. And that's when they transferred him to Johns Hopkins, and he was able to, a week later, get diagnosed with Hirschsprung's disease. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into that story. If you guys want me to do a story of how I found out Jace had Hirschsprung's disease, I will definitely do a video on that. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about me doing that video. But he's had it since he was born. So that was question 18. Question 19, will they last forever? Yes, this is a lifelong disease. Never goes away. He has had the surgery to repair the disease so he can go normally. But there's conditions that come along with Hirschsprung's disease that he will have forever. So yes, he will have those things forever, if that's the answer to that question too. Number 20, how will y'all handle school if it doesn't last forever? Right now, I can't answer that because I don't know where his condition will be at the time. By the time he's 5, 6, and in kindergarten, he could be, you know, relatively almost, you know, no symptoms anymore, no issues, except for once in a blue moon, and he could go to school. Or it could be that, you know, it's a constant reoccurring issue for years to come, and he may not get to go to school. He may have to be homeschooled. I don't know. It just depends on where his colon takes him from here till a few years from now. Question 21, do his friends bring it up? Not really, no. They've even visited him in the hospital. A few of his little friends have come and seen him. His best friend especially has come and seen him, and I don't think his friends have ever brought it up to him. I really don't. I've never heard them, at least, bring it up to him. I have had, you know, his best friend ask, oh, what's that scar on his belly? But, you know, that's just We explained, you know, why he was in the hospital. He was sick, and, you know. But other than that, no, they don't treat him any different. They don't bring it up. It's not like a big topic right now, at least. 22. Are there certain friends who you feel abandoned you because of the hospital life? Yeah. I feel certain friends abandon me just because of my mom, but especially even more because I come with a lot of distance because he gets sick a lot, and I don't have time to be on top of my friends like I used to be. I don't have time to, you know, mingle and have fun. But for me, I don't really get that opportunity too often, as we're here a lot more than you know, a lot. So I don't really get the opportunity to hang out with my friends as much as I used to, unless I have Jace with me, or it's kind of through FaceTime calls and stuff. Do I think my friends have abandoned me? There's certain friends, yeah. I do feel abandoned by some people. But at the same time, there's some friends that are ultimately the best friends I could ask for sure. And they stick with me through everything. They come and see me even in the middle of the night. They have come to see me when the worst of worst happens, when I just really need someone. So yeah, there's some friends that abandoned me, but some friends became even stronger. When you are scared, how do you deal with that? I comfort Jace. I explain the situation to Jace. I tell him there's... That's a hard question to answer. I do comfort Jace. I help Jace out first. Once he's, you know, calmed down and good. And if somebody else is with me, I walk away for a minute. And honestly, I pray and I beg my God to help me and to protect him. And if, you know, whatever happens, happens. I know that everything will be okay at the end of the day. But, or I hope at least that everything will be okay at the end of the day. But I really don't get scared. I don't have time to get scared almost. I have to put myself, my feelings, and my problems behind me. I have to leave those at the front door of the hospital. I don't have time to feel. I have to worry about what's the next best step, what's next, what's happening, how can I fix it, what can I do, what can I ask. You know, I can't have emotion really, and that's hard to do. But once you learn how to do it, it's the best way to deal with stress in the hospital. You have to worry about someone else right now, not yourself. So I don't really get to be scared, if that's an answer. I don't know. And if I do get the chance to be scared because someone's here, I go, I cry it out, I pray, I come back in like nothing happened, and I stop thinking about my fear, and I worry about how to fix it. I don't get to be scared really often, and I don't get to be scared. I don't get to be scared. I guess that's my answer. What has been the best way to comfort Jace? The best way to comfort Jace is to explain it to him. I really feel like that gives him comfort to know the possible outcomes. I explain 2 outcomes, a good one and a bad one, but I tell him that the bad one he can overcome, because he can overcome anything. You know, after everything life is thrown at him, he can overcome anything. He's only 3 and been through so much more than most adults have even gone through, you know? So, yeah, I just tell him, explain the situation to him, and explain that I love him and I'm so proud of him, and he will make it through anything. That's just how I deal with it. He's a brave boy. He really is. I mean, he's so brave, it's unbelievable. But that's really how I comfort Jace. But that is the end of the questions that I have for today's Q&A. I will be doing another one here soon. But thank you guys for all the questions, all the love and support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. And we will be back with more videos. I'll see you guys later.